Hello everyone, this is Laco S, and welcome to my Su-27 livery showcase video. I actually did, after recording that Su-33 video, go in and play around with some of the Su-33 aircraft and see if we can get them to land on other carriers and also have some fun. Had a lot of fun figuring out how to get which aircraft onto which carriers through the AI and how to get them to take off. Turns out most aircraft will land on most other carriers, but you can't get them to take off from those carriers. Nor can you spawn on those carriers, at least for right now. So that's neither here nor there. We are now focused, because today we are now focused on the ground-based variant of the Su-33, basically the OG flanker, the Su-27 flanker. And we're going over, as always, Ace Combat skins for them in-game. So we're gonna start off with ISAF skins. Interestingly enough, there's actually quite a lot of ISAF skins for the flanker. So we're gonna go our first one right here. This is the ISAF 6 Fighter Squadron Black Spiders by AWACS Bandog. It's a really cool skin. It's kind of like a F-16 skin on a flanker, and I'm here for it. This is actually a pretty interesting. Turned out actually pretty interesting and well done. The nice big stable tail fins with your U.S. Style tail art, your airport code, your little squadron icon at the bottom with the spiders, pretty cool. You also have now this is ISAF, so it's a whole bunch of countries banded together. So you have the aircraft, you have the flag of the nation that sent these aircraft to ISAF. Plus you have those little color bands at the top, which actually add a nice little bit of color to the aircraft. You also have ISAF stencils in gray, which is pretty cool. And I do like this nose art here on the fighter. It's always cool to have a little bit of nose art on your fighters. Even though it's a World War II tradition that's fun to actually bring back into modern fighters. The name of the pilots up there as well, plus some kills that they have achieved. Also on the right engine, it's a little hard to see because of the shadows, but there actually is also the squadron emblem there as well. So this Black Spiders pack also comes with an option for a standard issue aircraft, same markings. By the way, those are dynamic board numbers, so there's that going for it. Again, also squadron icon on the left intake. So that is the Black Spider Squadron livery. It's pretty cool. Now going over to a very interesting digital camo, we have from Billy the Kid, ISAF Air Force 2nd Air Brigade 29th Tactical Fighter Squadron Broadswords. And this is really interesting for all sorts of reasons. It's a digital camo, which surprisingly I haven't really seen a whole lot of them in DCS for Ace Combat, so that's interesting. But also it's a digital camo of sort of the desert themed, the desert / Mediterranean themed liveries, where you have this sea green and then a dark green, like an olive drab. So you have the sea green, olive drab, and then you kind of have the sand color. So it's a really interesting color combination, and with the digital camo scheme, I think it really pops. Also, I will admit I am always a sucker for flankers with the darker nose cones, and this has that, as well as the older, as well as the Black Spider skin that we just covered. Also to note, even though there's all these really cool colors on the actual aircraft, you still have the ISAF logo in color, which is always nice. And you also have on the back really cool tail art on the flanker, making use of that really big rudder to showcase off the squadron's emblem, the name of the squadron up top, and you can also have the name of the squadron there, Broadswords. Plus, again, showcasing more flags from the ISAF nations, always a cool little touch that I like. And this also, like with your Black Spider Squadron, uses you get the Ace variant with the name of the pilot up there. And interestingly, this is a pilot from Ustio, so it's so it's sort of a cycling back to where pilots all over the world came to Ustio. Now the Ustio pilots are going all over the world, which is a nice little touch. And he has all his kill marks up there. Looks like I definitely see a MiG-21 and some A-10s and some F-15Es, as well as an F-18. So definitely it looks like he has kill marks from the conflict in Ace Combat 0, which is the Balkan War, and then I guess also conflicts in the I want to say it's the Ulysses War. That was the one that was in Ace Combat 4. Forget the technical name of it. And also going over here, this is the standard issue variant. This is the standard issue skin for the Squadron. It's really interesting where the flight lead has the emblem of the Squadron. All the other flight members have the emblem of ISAF, and it actually looks really cool. In that 3 triangle mark, both for the rondel and then kind of stylized for the arrow pointing down to the right for the rudder icon. So another really good skin from user Billy the Kid, and he also made this skin. This is second air wing again, but this is the number 226 Squadron, Cerberus. I think that's the North Point flag, and you have North Point flag, Squadron emblem, ISAF, rondel, ISAF down there. You have the bright blue ISAF rondels that I'm kind of always a fan of. Also on the rudder, you have a nice little bit of light blue at the tips, which is always appreciated. I think it's the same blue as the ISAF, or no, it's slightly different than the ISAF logo blue, but it still pops really nicely. Plus, you have these Aegean Ghost style paint scheme that's like this faded sand and faded like light blue and faded like bluish gray, which is always cool on a lot of aircraft, including flankers. As this is the Ace variant, you actually have the pilot's name there on the canopy bow, and then you have all their kills that they did in the course of the war, effectively. So you have all those Erusea rondel markings, and it looks like potentially he downed even 2 yellows. And then over here we have the standard issue skin for that Squadron right here. And I do believe these are dynamic port numbers on these 2 skins right here, just because that was the 5th and 6th aircraft I placed. So that's kind of how I tell if an aircraft has dynamic port numbers. Sometimes it backfires. It could just be sheer luck that that's not the case, but usually that works out that way. Now going over from ISAF to Erusea. There are plenty of Erusean flanker skins, but I don't want to spend all day on them, so I picked out 2 of some of the more interesting ones that I found. Starting with Mr. Sir 46, we have the Federal Erusea Air Force Su-27 Flanker from Ace Combat 4. And this is a very interesting, it's kind of almost like a purpley gray skin, which is a really interesting skin choice here. Darker nose cone and rudder tail tips. And also you have the older style of Erusea rondel. This one is the Federal Erusea Air Force rondel. And I will admit, for a lot of my Ace Combat missions, I tend to mix the Federal Erusea Air Force aircraft with the Erusea aircraft. Just because that way you get more Erusea aircraft in the game, and plus you can always justify it as like sort of like in between period where it was interchangeable. But if you specifically went the older style Erusea rondel with the triangle with the Erusea stars in the middle, you can go for this skin. And this skin pack, by the way, from Mr. Sir 46 has a skin pack of 4 flankers, and each one of them has their own unique number. So you have 10, 11, 12, and 13. So that way you have a set of 4 skins, and that's always appreciated. That way you can have a full flight of them. Next up for Erusea, we have the 67th Squadron Scroll Blue by user, and I'm not making this up, Chief of Booty. This is a Erusian skin that's kind of sort of going off a dazzle camouflage, and I kind of like this. Again, this is another cool combination of colors. It kind of reminds me sort of like Arctic colors. We have like a very faint, like a light, almost like a white gray, and then you have like a light blue and like a darker blue. Kind of reminds me of like an iceberg or the Arctic. So it's a really cool dazzle camouflage in those colors. You also have contrasting to those the bright orange Erusian rondels on the wings and on the rudder. And you also have the squadron emblem pretty much out there on the rudder as well, so it's nice and big. So this is a really cool skin for Erusea, and it's always good to have sort of your quote-unquote non-standard Erusian skins. There are a lot of Erusian skins that are based off of, again, either known pilots or the standard Erusian skin that's in game. So having something like this is pretty cool. Breaks things up a little bit. And we're now going to go over from Erusea to Yuktobania, who would be the other main user of the flanker. And this is where you get some really interesting and unique picks, where you have these, again, you have a dazzle camouflage here, but also overlaid with a stripe pattern on this skin, which is the Yuktobanian Air Force 188th Fighter Squadron from Mr. Sir 46. Also to note, and very much appreciated on Yuktobanian skins, is that they actually have basically a Cyrillic writing on the skin, which is very fitting for Yuktobania. So you have your Yuktobanian Air Force rondel markings and the flag, and you also have BBC chop for their Air Force. And again, really nice deep blue coloration. This is definitely, this would definitely be up there among my favorite Su-27 Flanker skins. Except there's a couple down the line there that are my favorite. So, also to note, this is a one-off skin for an ace. So you have the shark mouth and the eyes, which is pretty cool, and you have his own kill marks and the Erusian, I believe, Air Force seal behind the cockpit right there. So it's another cool ace skin for Erusea. Sorry, for Yuktobania. Next up, this is actually from a project for an Ace Combat themed server. The skins are available for the public to use. This is from Cosmonaut 80, and this is the Yuktobanian Air Force Yuktobanian Red Guard skin. And again, you have the Cyrillic writing on the rudders. So that's always a nice touch for your Yuktobanian skins. You have your Yuktobanian flag, as well as the rondels on the wing and rudder as always. And this time, this coloration is more of a desert coloration, which is kind of also useful for flankers, because you don't have a lot of desert colorations for your flankers. Also of note, and really cool, is that up here, right behind the cockpit, you have basically the Yuktobanian Red Guard seal. And this is a throwback to World War II Russia, where you would have effectively your standard Air Force units, and then you would have your Red Guard Air Force units that were sort of the quote-unquote cream of the crop. Like, so you have like your Red Guard units, and then you have your standard issue units. So it's cool that they brought that tradition here into the flankers. So I always thought that was interesting, is you have this giant, like, flamboyant seal on every Red Guard unit, whether it's a tank Red Guard unit or if it's an aircraft Red Guard unit. They always have these flamboyant seals, and it's prominently displayed right behind the cockpit, as it should be. Um, we have here a Yuktobanian Air Force Regiment by Billy the Kid. This one is the 179th Fighter Aviation Regiment Strela. And this is actually my favorite variant of the flanker skin that we have in game for all of Ray's combat skins. Mainly because, again, it has a dark nose, but it also has these black tail tips and that one leading edge on the one side. So it's a really sharp, dark. It has really the skin has a lot of like aspects that are really dark, but then it's also contrasted by your sort of standard issue Russian light blue pattern. So it's a really cool combination of those two combined. Plus, you have a really nice, clean white mostly clean underbelly. And here you also have with this skin a really cool option. You can have either Russian style writing, or was this Cyrillic, or you can have English lettering on your skin. So you can have that's a nice choice that Billy the Kid added here. Again, you also, as all with your other flanker skins, you have your two rondels on the wingtips, one on the rudder. You also have the Yuktobanian flag on the rudder, and you also even on this aircraft have the Squadron emblem also on the rudder, which is always cool. And up front, you have your Yuktobanian rondel right below the cockpit, where the pilot sits. And then right behind the cockpit, you have the Air Force seal for Yuktobania. And again, this is the Russian letter variant. And this here is the English variant. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot of difference. Basically, you get a airfield code and YAF as opposed to on this one where you get BBC Chop or Twaip. Not quite sure how that's pronounced. I'm quite sure there's going to be a random Russian YouTuber who's going to come in here and criticize me for saying that. And to my response, please, thank you for telling me, because that's something I've always been curious about. What that means, because it's on a lot of Russian aircraft in DCS. And that's pretty much it for my Russian skin video. I'm not quite sure when I wanted to record and upload next. There are plenty of options, and I'm even thinking about possibly having ready by the time for this the next video is ready to go up some Huey skins. So maybe we might do some Huey skins upcoming. Other than that, it's a free game, and as always, I will say have fun everyone downloading and playing with all the skins I have showcased. Don't worry, this is not the end. Probably in from here on out, every other week we'll be doing a skin upload instead of weekly. Partially to give time for the skin makers to create new skins. Partially to give myself a little bit of breathing room to make sure I keep these videos up at a decent quality. And also to honestly to buy the creative to buy our content creators for skins time to make skins for the F-15E and the upcoming F-4E. If by the time this video releases the F-4E is even upcoming, which hopefully it will actually be released, and I will be pleasantly surprised, but you never know. So in that case, this has been LockOS signing out, and I'll see you around.